Just like Sandy was saying, ask around. I asked my sister, hey, I'm looking for an internship. I'm really interested in doing design. She goes, hey, you know what? I have a friend her friend's sister is actually working at Capcom, and I know that they're looking for an intern right now in their creative services department. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I whipped together my resume really quick, gave it to her, and I was waiting, and I was waiting, and I was waiting. I'm like, you know what? They're not calling me back, but
I was playing games, so I was too busy.
So like a few months passed, and I'm like, I kind of gave up hope, but then they were like, I got a phone call, and they said, hey, are you still interested in being an intern at Capcom? I'm like, yes. And so she goes, well, why don't you come down whatever day, and you'll start. I'm like, that was it. Like, I didn't get any interview. They just was like, hey, come on in, and you're in. So I kind of lucked out with that one, which is my next point is it's more of a right place, right time. Don't give up, even though I kind of slightly gave up, but just keep being persistent, but don't be too overly persistent, if you know what I mean. Just, keep submitting your resume, keep looking at the job boards, use LinkedIn, use Craigslist, talk to people, network with people at the show, come talk to us afterwards, If you frequent these shows a lot, just keep coming back, because we do remember faces, like Francis says, we do see a lot of regulars that come back, and some succeed in finding a job, and some just, want to chit-chat and network, which is totally fine with me.
Right.
And I think my last point says stay in school, which I already pointed out. So.
What programs do you use?
Oh yeah, so I have a story. I'm working on 5 hours of sleep. So I started off only knowing Photoshop. And like Christine says, always say, yes, I'll do that. So my assignments were, hey, I need you to use Illustrator and InDesign. Okay, I can do that. Google is a very helpful friend, so I kept Googling. I was too embarrassed and scared to ask, hey, how do I do this? Although I learned later on working at Capcom, don't be afraid to ask questions. The best advice I learned from working at GameStop, when I worked at GameStop, was it's better to ask questions than to waste time trying to figure it out. But so I kind of gradually learned and increased my skill in Illustrator and InDesign, and just wanted to point out that graphic design is fun. It's a really fun job to do, but there are difficulties and walls we hit.
Tell them the horror story.
So recently, Resident Evil 6. Everyone knows that game, right?
You know what? Let's just do a really loud cheer for Resident Evil 6 and interrupt there. Ready? Resident Evil 6! Yeah! They're all like, oh, we're the wrong panel, we should be on this one. This is the fun one.
Yes, Resident Evil 6 was an interesting project. We didn't have much time to design the packaging for that. We got assets late. Not only did we get it late, but when we put it together, so when we put things together, we had to submit it for approval through Japan, through the product managers, through legal, through I don't know what else, ESRB, thank you.
First party.
And that's just in the US, that's just North America. We also have to do it for Brazil, we have to do it for Europe. So it's a very long process that Christine has to deal with, so she's a great person to work with. I don't know how she keeps a calm and straight face at work. I'm always stressing out. But, so you think they would only come back with one edit and you'll be done, but there's actually, I think we went through like 10 revisions. And so once we were like, okay, we finally figured out what we wanted to do, submitted it for print, then we get color prints back, or proofs back, right? Well, color proofs, you're supposed to just check on the color, but then we realized, oh, there's actually, mistakes here and there. The logo wasn't big enough, we wanted to make it bigger. We realized that the logo wasn't bright enough, so we had to change the color on that. And so then we had to submit it again through approvals through CJ and ESRB and all the other legal checks and stuff. So let's just say the last couple of months have been hell for me, but I'm very grateful to have the experience of doing something like this, because as an intern at a normal company, you would never touch large projects like this. My first day on the job, I had to do something for Resident Evil 5, and that's unheard of to touch a AAA title on your first day of the job. Usually you run and get coffee people, right? Or
I was too busy playing games.
But anyways, that's my story. Francis insisted me telling you the story.
Well, the thing is, because I can, because I have my art background too, is if you want to do graphic design in like a marketing department for like Capcom or EA or anybody else, it's different than classic graphic design. So, I've interviewed literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people for these type of art positions through the years. I get gorgeous portfolios, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I look at it, I'm just so jealous of the talent. But the thing is, that portfolio is something maybe the guy spent a whole semester on. That's the cream of the crop, right? What happens though is, when we, in our business, and especially in the magazine business, it's all based on how fast and productive you are. So it could be like, here's 4 dockets, here's 4 stories, 4 articles you got designed, each one's got to look different, and it's got to be done in the next 8 hours. Because we ship these out to the printer at 5 o'clock, and you got to deliver. So it's graphic design. I mean, your talent is important, but it's also the speed and efficiency, as well as no errors, no typos, no things like that. It's able to churn it out, day after day after day. So what Liz brought up is like, if you look at the RE6, packaging, please go buy it at GameStop. But I had to do a sell somewhere. But if you look at it, it looks like it's rather simple. There's a logo, there's a couple screenshots on the back, how many players, and UPC code, right? And a bunch of gobbledygook legal. But in reality, like you said, it goes through so many rounds. You have to have the patience that perhaps a classical graphic person that likes to do design will be frustrated in, is to realize the industry and the expectations that you're heading into. Okay, so anyways.
And stay organized.
Yeah, organized. So moving on, Mr. Rodriguez.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? My name is Mark Rodriguez.
He's a New Yorker?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few in the West Coast that can get away with rocking this hat, so.
That's right.
My name is Mark Rodriguez. I'm the new Associate Manager of Content Analysis for the Capcom USA branch of, it's a weird jargon, but basically I'm a QA guy that is trying to make our games as best as they can be. Better than the best is what we strive for. So I just started this new role as of October 1st, so please don't blame me for anything prior to that. Come up to me and ask me about what I've been doing recently with this latest go-around for Comic-Con is basically evaluating what you guys think about our recent releases, what we can do better, what we can do to better serve you as consumers, as gamers. A little bit of background about myself. Yes, I'm a native New Yorker. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm staying with my mom in Williamsburg right now. My mom's still over there. She's cooking me rice and beans.
That's right.
I went to school in Brooklyn, grew up there. I went to state school, I went to Stony Brook University. Shout out to all the SUNY Stony Brook, any SUNY people here. Anybody from New York, I went to college in New York State School. I studied philosophy and Latin American Caribbean studies.
That was useful.
Yes.
Very.
So it doesn't matter what you do with your degree, get a degree. Because you can do whatever you want to do if you have that paper. So don't let anyone stop you. I know Matt told you earlier on, he followed his dream and he did what he did. Sometimes you get those hiccups. I know a lot of people that get those hiccups, but they finish strong, and that's what counts. So like Matt, like Christine, I started in QA out of college. I was desperate to go to California. I was going to do anything possible, so I graduated in 2005. A lot of my fraternity brothers didn't know what I was going to do. They kept asking me, what are you going to do? You have a philosophy degree. I'm like, I could walk the earth. I could try and be a lawyer or a doctor or a teacher or something. A lot of my family was in all my family's in the Board of Education. So I have teachers and guidance counselors and paras and everybody. So I was like, I can't really do that because if I stood in a classroom and said the wrong thing to the wrong kid, I don't want to be that responsible for things. So I'd rather be responsible for fun things. I think education is the best thing anyone can ever do. So I strive for that and I strive to learn, and that's what my job is about. My job is about learning the most I can from the consumer because I am a consumer. So what I did for 5 years at Rockstar was basically work my way up from a beta tester to a game analyst to a project lead to a lead analyst, and then moved on to Capcom 2 years ago as a QA lead, which basically means instead of doing all the testing, I manage all the testers. So it gave me a little bit more time to see things from a little bit more of a managerial level, see what I did wrong as a tester and try and improve the testing methods, try to find new ways to find defects and bugs in the game, try and help people to understand that it's not about just bug counts and trying to find the most issues or defects wrong. It's about steering the quality of the game to be something that's in line with the company's goals, with the designer's goals, with the director's goals, the producers, the developers, everything. So I worked on everything from 2005 to 2010 at Rockstar. I came to Capcom, worked on everything between 2008 and 2010 and 2012. I can't really answer.
So you didn't catch that hot coffee, the whole thing?
No, I came in after that, which changed the game for me because.
Because you guys know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Hot coffee. Yeah, there you go, man.
Well, I changed the game. Here's the thing. Coming from